Hola, ¿qué tal? Hello, students of Spanish for Tens. Dr. Jolly here, and I wanted to show you in this video the proofing log that you're going to use to proofread your translation team members' draft translation. Go through that with you, and also go through with you how you actually do the proofreading using the track changes and the comments function in Microsoft Word. So look, what we're looking at here is the actual proofreading log. This will be on Blackboard under Course Documents, and it's a Word document. First thing you're going to do is put in your name here, right? So you're going to put in your name there, and then you're going to add the name of the person whose draft translation you're translating, right? Whatever their name is. Okay. And then, first of all, it says here under instructions, you can see that you're going to open the file in Microsoft Word. Okay, so you're going to open the file that you've been sent. Someone else translated it. You're proofing it. You're going to open up that file in Microsoft Word, like it says. You're going to compare it side by side with the source text. Okay, so maybe on half the screen you're looking at the translation. The other half you have minimized the actual source text. Then you're going to click the Review tab and activate Track Changes function. So let me show you real quick how that's done. Under Review, you have Track Changes. To turn it on, you click right here, and click there again to turn it off. I'll come back to that in a second. With Track Changes active, you're going to go ahead and make any changes as you review it, make any changes that are necessary and appropriate. Again, resisting the urge to change things just to change things, just for the sake of making a change. Also, as you go through the translation, I want you to use the comment function to ask any questions, to give any suggestions or feedback, and you should provide multiple comments or questions. Okay, so the way you do that is you're going along, you want to add a comment here like, oh, I'm surprised you didn't use company. You put your cursor there, or you highlight the text, you go up again, you're on the Review tab, and you click New Comment. Then over here, you can add your comment, right? Are you sure it's not compañía, right? And yes, we're sure. Remember, we discussed this in class because we decided, for the sake of consistency, to use empresa. All right, let's go back to the log. All right, so you're going to include you're going to make changes using track changes. You're going to include some comments. When you're done marking up the document, as I'll show you in a minute, do not go ahead and accept or reject any of the changes. So again, do not accept or reject. You're going to save it, and you're going to send it back to your team coordinator, team leader, or you're going to send it directly to the person who translated it, whatever your group decided. Okay, so again, return the markup file, but not this log, to your team coordinator. Okay. Then, to turn it into me, the instructor, you're going to print out a copy of the marked up translation file, maybe 2, 3, 4 pages. You're going to staple this log to it, and you're going to bring that to class on Tuesday. Okay. All right. Now, there are some instructions on the log about how to use track changes. I'm going to go through that in just a minute. Second part, after you've done or while you're doing the proofreading of your partner's translation, there's some questions here. I want you to address the vocabulary, the grammar accuracy, what do you think the strongest points are, the weakest points, overall assessment, how effective and accurate was the translation, and then finally, as usual, I want you to do some reflective thinking. What were a couple of things that this proofreading exercise taught you about the translation or proofreading processes? And down here you can see the criteria that I'm going to use more or less to assess this. Remember, it's just 5 points, but again, 5 points out of 50, so 10%. All right, so now I want to walk you through quickly how to actually use the track changes function, how to proofread a translation. So let's transition over to that. So the first step, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to open up that document in Microsoft Word, the document that your translation team coordinator sent you to proofread. Now, if you open it up and it's got all these red underlines, as you know, that indicates misspellings. One thing you can do is select all, right? And again, most of the time when you open a Word document, it's under the Home tab. You want to go to Review. That's where we're going to be working. Select all. Under Language button, set the proofing language, pick Spanish. Most of those should go away. If they don't, then they are misspelled. So first thing you do is set the proofing language to Spanish, right? the next thing you do is go ahead and spell check it, right? So you can click this button over here, or you can just place your cursor here and hit F7 on your keyboard, right? Now, you may or may not have the Spanish pack installed in Microsoft Word. If not, you're just going to have to look for those underlined words and fix them one by one. Oaks is okay, so we're going to ignore that. Hospitality is okay, we're going to ignore that. Política should have an accent, I'm fixing that. Nosotros was misspelled. Familiarizarse was misspelled. I did some of these on purpose just so I can illustrate it, right? And then cualquiera. So again, first two steps, change the review language and run a spell check, or do a manual spell check for anything that's still underlined in red. All right, next thing you're going to do under review is click track changes. That way any change you make is going to be kept track of. So if I wanted to change this word, for example, once I've clicked on that, it'll show up as blue. If I wanted, now objetivo, I want to change this to propósito, el propósito de este manual. That's what happens. It strikes out the old text and it inserts the new text, right? Sometimes this will not be visible, these changes, because you can click on these vertical lines off to the side to hide that. Okay, so if you want to see that, that's all you do. If you were to delete something, that's what it looks like, right? So you can make insertions, you can make deletions, you can move things, you could do a cut. I'm going to hit Control X and paste, Control V down here, and you'll see that it puts it in green and double underlines it. So that's basically track changes. It's going to show all the changes that you make in the document, right? And there are several, but again, like I said, resist the urge to make changes just for the sake of making changes, right? So once you've marked up the text, another thing you want to do that I mentioned on the log is to insert questions or suggestions, right? So you might say, I'm not really sure I want to change this, but I want the person to consider it, right? Maybe proveer, they could also use proporcionar. So I'm just leaving that as a suggestion, right? I'm just leaving that as a suggestion. Here I might say something like, what about the acronym in Spanish? Should we use a Spanish acronym? Short answer is no, and this would be a change just for the sake of changing something. But again, I'm just illustrating the comments function, which I assume most of you are very familiar with. So you've made several changes, you've made deletions. Oh, we don't need that right there. We're going to delete that. We're going to capitalize this, right? We've marked up the text. We are not going to, back to the review tab, we are not going to accept or reject any of these changes, right? We are simply going to do a save as, right? We're going to name it something else. So we might say part 1 marked up, save that wherever, and we're going to send that back to our team coordinator or to the translator, him or herself. Does that make sense? And then say this is my translation that I've just received from the proofreader. I'm the one that's going to go through and decide, he or she suggested that I change propósito. I like that. I can right click on that and click accept insertion, right? And there's also a function where you can accept all changes, but I want to discourage you from doing that, because why would you agree with every single thing the reviewer said? I want you to go through one by one. I don't like this. I'm going to reject that deletion, right? I'm not going to reject, but I'm going to consider very carefully these comments, and once I decide what action to take on them, I'm going to delete them, right? I can figure out how to do that. There is a way to delete them. There we go. Delete comment, okay? So we're cleaning this up as we go, all right? So that's how you accept individual changes in your marked up document, okay? Let's see, anything else? I think that's pretty much it. If you have any questions about the proofing log itself, or about how to use the set proofing language, turn on or activate track changes, or use the comments function feel free to email me and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Hasta pronto!